It was a typical Tuesday afternoon when Sarah Johnson received a mysterious package in the mail. She opened it to find a small, ornate ring nestled inside a velvet box. Intrigued by the unexpected gift, Sarah examined the ring closely and noticed an inscription on the inside band that read, "Find the truth, unlock the mystery." Curiosity piqued, Sarah began to investigate further. She noticed that the ring had a strange symbol engraved on the front, one that she couldn't quite place. Was it a code? A message? And who had sent her this enigmatic ring in the first place? But before we start, smash the like button and make sure to subscribe if you haven't, and hit that notification bell so that you won't miss any new stories. The package was waiting for her on the porch, sitting in the sunlight like it belonged there. Sarah Johnson almost didn't see it. She was balancing a grocery bag on one hip, keys in her mouth, phone pressed to her ear as her sister rattled on about some disaster at work. She was halfway through the door before she noticed the small, square box no return address, just her name in neat, looping script. She set her groceries down and picked it up. The box was light, barely heavier than air, and wrapped in brown paper. No postage, no clues. Her sister's voice buzzed in her ear. "Sarah, you there?" "Yeah," Sarah said, distracted. "I just got something weird in the mail." She ended the call, curiosity prickling at her skin. She tore off the paper, careful but impatient. Inside was a velvet jewelry box, deep blue and soft to the touch. It looked expensive, out of place on her worn kitchen counter. A ring sat nestled in the folds, gold and delicate, with an intricate design on the front a symbol she didn't recognize, something like a twisted knot or a snake eating its tail. It glinted in the afternoon light. Sarah's heart thudded. She wasn't expecting jewelry. She wasn't expecting anything. She lifted the ring, turning it between her fingers. It was heavier than it looked, cold and smooth. On the inside band, she saw an inscription, tiny and precise. She stared at the words, a chill running down her spine. Who would send her something like this? And why? She slipped the ring onto her finger. It fit perfectly, as if it had been made for her. Sarah looked around her empty kitchen, suddenly feeling watched. She spent the next hour searching for clues. There was nothing in the box, nothing in the wrapping. No noci, no sender. The handwriting on the package was unfamiliar. She took a photo of the symbol and zoomed in. It was beautiful, but strange. Not a letter, not a number. It looked old, ancient even. Sarah's mind raced. Was it a prank? A mistake? Had someone meant to send this to someone else? But the inscription was clear. It was for her. She couldn't shake the feeling that she was being invited into something secret. Sarah sat down at her laptop, the ring cool on her finger. She typed in ancient ring symbols and scrolled through images, but nothing matched. She tried mysterious ring inscription, secret society rings, cipher symbols. Still nothing. She leaned back, frustrated, but she couldn't stop staring at the ring. That night, she dreamed of shadows and whispers, of doors that wouldn't open, and eyes watching from the dark. She woke up sweating, the ring pressing a mark into her skin. She made coffee, her hands shaking. The world felt different, charged with something she couldn't name. Sarah was a teacher, used to routine. She liked order, answers, facts. But this was a puzzle, and she couldn't let it go. She posted the photo of the symbol on a few online forums. "Does anyone recognize this?" she wrote. "Found on a ring. Any ideas?" She refreshed the page every few minutes, waiting. By noon, someone replied, "That's not a symbol. It's a cipher. Old, maybe medieval. Used by secret societies for codes." Sarah's heart skipped. She dug deeper. More replies trickled in, links to obscure websites, photos of dusty books, stories about societies that used hidden messages to communicate. One user sent her a private message. "Look for the pattern in the lines. It's a substitution cipher. Try matching the curves to letters." Sarah stared at the symbol, tracing it with her finger. She saw it, now the way the lines twisted, the way they repeated. It wasn't just decoration, it was a message. She grabbed a notepad and started sketching. It took her hours, but finally she cracked it. The symbol spelled out an address. It was a place she'd never heard of, a street across town she'd never visited. She looked it up on her phone. It was in the old part of the city, near the river. Not the kind of place you went unless you had a reason. Sarah hesitated. Was she really going to do this? Follow a clue from a ring that showed up out of nowhere? But the urge was too strong. She needed to know. She grabbed her jacket and keys, slipped the ring onto her finger, and locked the door behind her. The city felt different as she drove. The sky was gray, clouds heavy and low. She turned down unfamiliar streets, past boarded-up shops and graffiti-covered walls. The address led her to a narrow alley tucked between two crumbling brick buildings. She parked and got out, heart pounding. The alley was quiet, the kind of quiet that made you listen harder. Trash bins lined the walls, and somewhere a cat yowled. At the end of the alley, she saw a door old, wooden, with peeling paint. There was no sign, no number. Sarah's hands trembled as she approached. She reached for the handle. It turned easily. Inside, the air was cool and smelled of dust and old paper. The room was dim, lit only by a single bulb hanging from the ceiling. Shadows clung to the corners. Sarah stepped inside, her footsteps echoing. She heard a whisper, soft and urgent. "Welcome, Sarah!" She froze. From the darkness, figures emerged. 5 of them, cloaked and masked, their faces hidden. They stood in a semicircle, watching her. Sarah's heart hammered in her chest. One of them stepped forward, holding out a hand. "You found us," the figure said. The voice was calm, almost kind. "You solved the puzzle," Sarah swallowed. "Who are you?" The figure tilted their head. "We are seekers of truth, guardians of mysteries, and now, so are you." Sarah's mind raced. She wanted to run, to bolt out the door and forget this ever happened. But something kept her rooted. The ring on her finger felt warm, almost alive. Another figure spoke. "The ring is a test. Only those with curiosity and courage can unlock its message." Sarah looked at the face hidden, unreadable. She felt exposed, but also chosen. She thought of all the times she'd craved adventure, all the times she'd longed for something more. She took a breath. What happens now? The first figure smiled, though she couldn't see it. "Now you learn. Now you join us." They led her through a door at the back of the room, down a narrow hallway lined with bookshelves. The walls were covered in maps, codes, and symbols. Sarah's eyes widened. They stopped in front of a table. On it lay a book, old and leather-bound. "This is our record," the figure said. "Every member, every mystery solved." They opened it to a blank page. "Write your name." Sarah picked up the pen, her hand steady now. She wrote her name in careful letters. The figure nodded. "Welcome, Sarah Johnson." They told her about the society, how it began centuries ago, how they sought out hidden truths and uncovered secrets others ignored. They spoke of codes, ciphers, puzzles left behind by those who wanted to be found only by the worthy. Sarah listened, her mind spinning. She thought of her ordinary life, her small apartment, her job, her routines. She thought of how she'd always felt like something was missing. Now she understood. They gave her tasks small at first, deciphering messages, finding patterns, reading between the lines. She met others like her, people who saw the world not as it was, but as it could be. Sarah felt alive in a way she never had before. She learned to see the clues hidden in plain sight, the graffiti on the subway, the pattern in the newspaper headlines, the way strangers glanced at each other on the street. The world was full of secrets, waiting to be found, and she was one of the few who knew how to look. Weeks passed. Sarah's life changed in ways she couldn't have imagined. She still taught her classes, still called her sister, still went to the grocery store, but now everything felt different. She wore the ring every day. It was a reminder, a key to a world just beneath the surface. Sometimes she caught herself smiling for no reason. Sometimes she woke up in the middle of the night, heart racing, mind buzzing with possibilities. She was no longer just Sarah Johnson. She was a seeker, a solver, a part of something bigger. One night, she received another package. This one was smaller, wrapped in black paper. Inside was a note. "Your next mystery awaits." There was a new symbol, a new code. Sarah grinned. She was ready. The city was alive with secrets. Sarah walked its streets with new eyes, seeing the invisible threads that connected everything. She met with the society in hidden rooms, deciphered messages left in chalk on brick walls, pieced together stories lost to time. She found herself in places she never would have dared to go rooftops at midnight, tunnels beneath the city, abandoned theaters echoing with forgotten songs. Each clue led to another. Each answer opened a new door. Sarah learned to trust her instincts, to follow her curiosity wherever it led. She made mistakes, stumbled, got lost, but she always found her way back. She found friends among the society people who understood her, who shared her hunger for the unknown. They laughed together, argued over puzzles, celebrated each victory. Sarah felt at home. One evening, as the sun set over the city, Sarah stood on a bridge, the ring catching the last light of day. She thought about the day the package arrived, how her life had changed. She thought about all the mysteries still waiting to be solved. She smiled, feeling the weight of the ring on her finger. Sometimes, the smallest things can change everything: a package on the porch, a ring in a velvet box, a message hidden in plain sight. Sarah Johnson had found her truth, and she was ready for whatever came next. The world was full of secrets, and now she was one of them.